Take me back to 2007. Halo 3 launched after the massive success that was Halo 2. Halo 3 ODST would come out 2 years later, and Halo Reach a year after that. Then the first Destiny in 2014, Destiny 2 in 2017. Bungie was at an all-time high, vibes were immaculate, most consider this was the prime era of gaming. Now the Bungie we once knew and loved is dead. Well, it's kind of been dead, but that's neither here nor there. It's just now like dead is kind of where we're at on things. I want to make a video about this since we've got no Game Static this week because me and the boys are going to be watching SummerSlam, which, by the way, you should definitely check out Game Static. We're live almost every single Saturday around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time where we talk about all the latest news and just things that we're playing and just kind of whatever. As well as my brand new podcast, A Terrible Wrestling Show. The first episode is up right now. Trying to get on all the audio platforms, but it is on the brand new YouTube channel, A Terrible Sports Network. You should subscribe to that too. And you should also check out our Patreon. That will also be linked below, and we would appreciate that support. Okay, thanks, hugs, and kisses. But everything that's come out about Bungie this week is just really depressing, and I just kind of want to make a video about it because it probably would have been one of the lead topics for Game Static this week. So since, we've kind of known for a while that Destiny 2, the final shape, if it shits the bed, that was likely going to be the end of the current Bungie, and Sony just kind of take over the studio in terms of leadership. Since Sony bought Bungie for like, what, $3 million or whatever, or $3 billion, I don't remember what it was. The goal was just to like, let them exist, like do their own thing, bring in stacks on stacks on stacks, and just help with launching like other live service games. Sony kind of dubbed Bungie as like the live service kings, which like, don't get me wrong, Destiny 1 and 2 were, successful, but I don't know if I would call them the live service kings, but that's kind of how Sony viewed them. But that just really hasn't gone to plan. Destiny 2, unfortunately, has had like a really sad trend of like good and banger expansions, then that like immediately follows with a shit one, and then it goes back to having a good or banger and just kind of so on. Destiny 2 has honestly overstayed its welcome as well. Like I feel like it's gone on too long. Like Destiny 3, I feel like should have already come out. I mean, the gap between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 was like, literally 3 years, which is kind of insane to look back on and think about, but it made Destiny 1 feel so compact and just really fun to play. But I will also say, like, I think Destiny 2, I don't think that was a Bungie creation. I genuinely believe that was an Activision thing at the time. Like, I kind of remember Bungie talking about when it came to Destiny, this is a game they wanted to run for like 10 years. And I think Activision, just kind of wanted to, get new property out, more money, get that 2 on it, just kind of make money. Yeah, I feel like the same thing happened with Overwatch 1 to 2, and with how Overwatch 2 is like kind of abandoned everything that was going to make it unique. That further tells me that was an Activision play. But anyway, back to the main point here. But like Sony kind of again bought them as like the experts of live service, and it just hasn't really worked out really when you look at everything that's kind of happened with Destiny 2, with having good expansion, bad expansion, good expansion, bad expansion, etc. And then you look around where like they're supposed to be these experts to help out in other aspects of Sony, and you look at what was going on with Naughty Dog and this Last of Us live service game that is ultimately shelved and buried and just kind of dead, and Naughty Dog's moving on and they didn't want to work on it to begin with, etc. And Concord, the latest one that's set to come out soon, doesn't really look great. Like, at least for that $40 price tag. If this was a free-to-play game, like, I definitely think that it could have like a solid opportunity to live. But as of now, like, if it's coming out in August this month, like planned, like I don't see it being a success. Like, I played the demo, I played the beta, whatever, and like the game felt fine. But that's also the problem. The game felt fine. It didn't feel outstanding. Like, there was nothing about it that like stood out to me to make it's like, okay, yes, I want to play this for $40 versus playing something else in the space that's like free to play and more fun. So I don't know. Concord looks to be a disaster set to happen. I mean, I guess we did have Helldivers 2, but like I'm fairly confident Sony didn't even think that was going to be a success. Probably Bungie didn't either. It just kind of happened. The internet just took that one and just kind of ran with it. But like, I think overall, I think we can all agree Sony buying Bungie just has not worked out, and that's bringing us to like this week's shit show that's been. So apparently Bungie has cut over 220 roles this past week, and it wasn't that long ago they cut like another 100. So it's like that's just like over 300. It's like 380 jobs, I think, or something like that has been cut like over the last calendar year. You know, Destiny 2, the final shape, wasn't overall like massive success in terms of like reviews. It was praised by fans and critics both, but it wasn't enough to save the current Bungie. I saw one report that like apparently it sold less than Lightfall. I haven't verified that, but I did see that report floating, which is wild considering that's like considered the worst expansion to my understanding, and I've seen people blame that expansion for like where Bungie and Destiny 2's at now. Is like that really took it off the rails. Apparently, as of now, Herman Hulst is running Bungie, which, I mean, that's not really a surprise. I mean, you know, he's running PlayStation Studios for as long as he has, and, you know, now he's like one of the 2 CEOs of Sony along with the other guy. So, like, that's not necessarily surprising, you know, that he's just going to take control of it himself. You know, it sucks for everyone that lost their jobs. You know, I don't know, maybe this will work out for the studio. I'm just saying that as a mindset of, like, you know, with the other reports of, like, the other CEO, Pete Parsons, like, it just kind of gives me the vibe that, like, he just didn't give a shit about the company, you know? So there's now been a lot of reports come out that, like, immediately after the Sony and Bungie deal closed, like, apparently he bought, like, millions of dollars worth of classic cars through auctions online. And even when all the layoffs were happening, he was still buying these classic cars online, just throwing out stacks of more cars for him to hold on to, whatever. And it, like, I get that it's like the unfortunate norm for CEOs just to be like shitbags and just like spend, you know, like, oh, I have money, I'm good, fuck everyone else kind of thing. It's not really that surprising. It's just frustrating. You know, to me and to fans, that just really tells us that he really didn't give a shit about the company that he was running, which really sucks for like the long-time diehard fans of Bungie, like predating Halo, like to the original Marathon, you know, maybe just strictly like newer fans that jumped into Destiny 2, or maybe just fans that started with Halo, whatever the case is. Like, it just sucks for all fans who's like been with Bungie and riding with Bungie, just enjoying their games. Whenever I see stuff like that, I always think back to Ottawa with Nintendo and cutting his own salary to prevent anyone from losing their job. And also shout out to FromSoft boss Miyazaki. He recently said in an interview that as long as he's boss, no one will ever be laid off. And he gave credit to Ottawa about what he did all those years ago, cutting his own pay to make sure no one lost their job. Like, I just wish there was more CEOs with that mindset. You know, but instead we've got Pete over here, you know, buying 20 classic cars for like $2.3 million. But, you know, whatever. That's cool, Pete. I hope you enjoy him, Pete. You're a good guy, Pete. We like you, Pete. But with all the news that come out this week, there was also been a lot of back and forth on Destiny 3 news. Like, I've seen like a lot of back and forth with like, you know, Grub Mess and Jason Schreier and, you know, a few other people just kind of twisting their words where it's like Destiny 3 was in development and now it's been canceled and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they've kind of given some clarification that like Destiny 3 was apparently just never in development. Like it didn't get canceled because it just wasn't, it wasn't what they were doing. So the title itself of Destiny 3 has essentially been shelved indefinitely, but it was never really worked on to begin with. They were working on a new Destiny game, but it was like a spin-off, I guess like a Destiny 2.5. It was codenamed Payload. Just kind of further expanding on the Destiny lore, the Destiny world, whatever. You know, but as of Destiny 3, it's something that was never even in development, which hearing that and now seeing all the news that's come out this week, that just sucks, because to me that tells me that we might not ever get a Destiny 3. You know, a lot of focus now is being transitioned over to Marathon, but like I want to say there was like some leaks and reports that hasn't really been promising either, which I could unfortunately see like a timeline, right, where Marathon is mid or bad and just Bungie doesn't exist after that. Like I can see that being an alternate timeline, and I hope that's not our timeline. That would suck. Hopefully it's not our sacred timeline. Hopefully it's another multiverse, whatever. Shout out to Deadpool Wolverine. You should go watch it. It's really funny. But I really hope Marathon's not a, you know, complete shit show. I'm personally excited for it. I know the guys here on the show, are, at least John, is looking forward to it as well. I mean, this is a throwback. Like they're Bungie's hitting their original property and just taking a new twist on it, which is really cool. You know, but this is going to kind of be a new Bungie, kind of creating Marathon, which, you know, the Bungie that we once knew and loved. I mean, they've been gone for a while. As far as I know, like the original Bungie that did all, like, you know, the Halo games up to Reach, like, I'm pretty sure they all left Bungie to begin with to go do 343 and the current Halo games, which, if you know, I believe that was accurate, and if so, it blows me away that Halo's been crap since Halo 4 in my opinion. But either way, But like this being potentially the end of Bungie is just really disappointing when you look at like the history of what they've done and the great games they've put out there into like the multiplayer universe and everything. You know, I hope Marathon's not a failure. Like I'm looking forward to this, but like top to bottom with where Bungie's at, with where Marathon's at, the vibes are not immaculate, my friends. The vibes are not immaculate. Compared to when they once were. The vibes used to be immaculate. The vibes used to be amazing. And now I couldn't even begin to tell you what's going on with Bungie. This is just very upsetting top to bottom. You know, shout out to all the people that lost their jobs. Hopefully they can, you know, bounce back and get into new jobs pretty quickly. I saw some Bungie vets also left the company on their own terms. So I guess shout out to that. They weren't part of the layoff, but they were probably going to be part of the layoff, hence them leaving on their own terms. Hopefully shit can get turned back around for Bungie and it can go back to being a beloved name in gaming. We'll see though. It's just not looking promising. You know, like I said, I can definitely see a timeline where Marathon comes out, absolutely goes nuclear, and Bungie just doesn't even exist anymore, which is also crazy to think about on Sony's part, where they spent the amount of money they did and just really nothing has overall panned out for it. So I don't know. It's wild times right now. Let me know your thoughts on all this wild shenanigans going on, and let me know if you want to key Pete's cars with me. Okay, thanks. Bye, Seth. Please, bye.